don't like to be on the internet at all. I don't believe in the internet. Please, 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 please.
Remorse for what? You people have done everything in the world to me. Doesn't that give me equal right? I can do anything I want to you people at any time I want to, because that's what you've done to me. If you spit in my face and smack me in the mouth and throw me in solitary confinement for nothing, what do you think's going to happen when I get out of here? Guilty. I wouldn't do anything that I felt guilty about. There's no need to feel guilty. I haven't done anything I'm ashamed of. Maybe I haven't done enough. I might be ashamed of that, for not doing enough, for not giving enough, for not being more perceptive, for not being aware enough, for not understanding, for being stupid. Maybe I should have killed 400 or 500 people, then I would have felt better. Then would have felt like I really offered society something. You know, if I wanted to kill somebody, I'd take this book and beat you to death with it, and I wouldn't feel a thing. It'd be just like walking to the drugstore. Do you feel blame? Are you mad? Do you feel like Wolf's Kebab's right friends? Get friends. I don't fit in society, and I am incompetent. I'm definitely incompetent.
No, that's not what I would say.
Well, I say that. I say that. No, there's nothing wrong with being incompetent because you don't have to do as much. If you're competent, then you got a lot to do. See, but there's another aspect of it too. I've learned to reflect. I just reflect back. I know I don't know. I know I'm stupid. I admit I'm a petty whatever. I've never been a success at anything. I even got to the point where I didn't want to be a success at anything. What would being a success, what does that mean, you know? Money? Oh, I've had all the money in the world 3 times and I had to give it back. That's a stupid little game, you know? My awareness and my consciousness is not the same as somebody that goes to school and has a mom and dad. See, not having parents have left me in another dimension, so to say, you know? I don't have no bad going for nothing. I don't judge. I hardly even think about too much. It's hard for me to remember breakfast. In fact, if I didn't have 2 or 3 girls to help me, I would pretty much be lost and I wouldn't know what the hell I'm doing. You've got it stuck in your brain that I murdered somebody. What do you want to call me a murderer for? I've never killed anyone. I don't need to kill anyone. I think it. I have it here. In my whole life, I've burglarized a grocery store, sold some nickels and dimes, busted open a stamp machine, stole a few automobiles, and cashed a couple checks. I'm a petty card thief. I've been with prostitutes and bums and winos and all my life. The street is my world. I don't pretend to go uptown and be anything fancy. I can, but I find more real in the world that I'm in than I do the tinsel. And the real world is the one I have to deal with every day. The real world is the one I have to deal with every day. The real world is the one I have to deal with every day. It was the one I have to deal with every day. It was the one I have to deal with every day. It was the one I have to deal with every day. It was the one I have to deal with every day.
Hello? Where am I? Hello? Hello? I can't see anything. Where am I? Hello? Hello? I can't see. Hello? Hello? Where am I? Anyone there? Hello? 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 Anyone there? I can't see.
It made me feel like they were a permanent part of me. Besides the just mere curiosity of what it would be like, it made them feel that they were a part of me, and it gave me a sexual satisfaction to do that.
How do you feel about killing?
I don't. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't have a feeling one way or the other. I think if I had a choice, I wouldn't.
Saying I'd wanted to kill my mother since I was 8 years old, and I'm not proud of that. It started with surrogates at a non-human level. Physical objects, my possessions, other people's, destruction of things that are cared about, and then destruction of things that are living on a lower level, small animals, insects, animals, and then finally people.
Do you have any comprehension of the suffering that you brought the families of the people that you killed?
I don't have any remorse for some reason.
But I find it strange that you clearly feel affection for your daughter and your grandchildren.
I know, that's strange.
But you can't feel any empathy for all those people the families of all the people that you killed.
Yeah. It's not there. Like I said, I'm one side and the other side. I know something inside me is weird.
Ted, what would your life have been like without that influence?
Self-centered here. It would have been a lot better for me and lots of other people. I know that lots of other innocent people, victims and families. It would have been a lot better. There's no question but that it would have been a fuller life. Certainly a life that would not have involved, I'm absolutely certain, would not have involved this kind of violence that I have committed.
And that day I knew I could not stop doing it. I knew I had no control over it. I had just minimal controls. But mainly I could not stop it. It was going to happen again. And between that weekend day, it was a Saturday or a Sunday, I think it was a Sunday, between that Sunday and the next Saturday, all that week I was working, I built an image in my head, my mother's going to die. I'm going to kill her, and I am going to go to it with the police, and we're going to hold court in the street, and they're going to pound me in the ground, and they can fill in the blanks because I don't want to be around to explain it.
I thought about hurting her, so she'd shut up and leave me alone, and then...
How did you think about hurting your mom?
Killing her.
And how would you do that?
With my hands, or I didn't have no guns or anything, so I didn't... It had to have been hands or...
For whatever reason, did you ever decide to let someone go?
Yes. But then I thought better of the idea and shot him anyway.
What did you want him to think as they died?
Just see my pretty face. I take it to them. But the last thing they ever saw was me.
I am a pedophile. I'm not a monster. I have the attraction, but I don't act on it. I am Todd Nickerson. I'm a non-offending pedophile. I have never, ever sexually abused a child. I never will. I do not look at child porn. I never will. I obey the laws. I respect the laws. I respect society's position on this. I understand it and agree with it. I am part of one of the most hated groups of society. No question about it. We are the scapegoats du jour. If you look at history, there's always one minority that seems to be the one that everybody kind of persecutes, and I think we're it. I'm campaigning for better treatment of people like me. We're non-offending pedophiles. Not all pedophiles are child molesters, and not all child molesters are pedophiles. Pedophile is, strictly speaking, is just somebody who has the sexual attraction to children. They may act on it, they may not. Pedophiles come from all walks of life. We come from all sorts of economic backgrounds, different occupations, and we look like everybody else. There are a lot of teachers and people that, who do work with kids, but I think most of us just hold regular jobs.
How would you say you managed to control your sexual urges?
A lot of people think that if you're attracted to kids that you have some kind of unusual degree of urge to go out and, attack kids, and it's not like that. Most people, when they see somebody they're attracted to, do they automatically think, oh, I want to jump on them and have sex with them? So it's the same with us. It's just, we just happen to be attracted to kids.
What age groups are you attracted to?
I would say it probably starts about 4 years old, and then goes up into early 20s, late teens, early 20s, and it kind of peaks at about 9, 10 years old. I'm a political activist for Virtuous Pedophiles, which is a forum that I belong to. I'm out, talking to the media and things, and basically making the case for VerPed. The forum is devoted to helping pedophiles who do not want to offend. There are approximately a few thousand members. We have people who do feel guilty, deal with shame, and we try to help them get past that because, they didn't choose their sexuality, as long as they're not acting on it and they're devoted to doing the right thing. Our philosophy is there's no reason to feel guilty for that. We can talk about books or movies or music or whatever, Just basically, it's just a hangout spot, kind of an all-purpose forum for non-offending pedophiles. My goals are to educate the public and also to bring people who are struggling with this attraction to our forum so that we can help them, provide a circle of support for them. There's not a lot of people that are out and doing what I do. There's just a handful of us doing it.
What was your reaction when you first decided to show your face on the internet, so to speak?
What was the reaction from the public, or?
Yeah.
Well, I got a pretty public backlash, but by the same token, I actually got a lot of support privately. I got hundreds and hundreds of emails from people who were very supportive. A lot of them were people who were survivors of abuse.
Are you worried about your own personal safety in putting yourself in the public eye?
I used to be worried about my safety, and I do take some precautions. I carry this pocket knife with me just in case I ever get attacked. It's never happened, but, I've got it if I need it. It's a spring blade. There might be some crazy out there who decides to attack me. Plus I have this, so, that tends to deter most people. I was born without my right hand. It just didn't grow properly. I have to wear this. Slips right back on. Just like that. There was one event that basically hammered it home for me. I call it my eureka moment. It was the moment I realized I'm interested in these younger girls. I was 13, and a neighbor had come over to visit. He had brought his little daughter with him. She was probably about 7 or 8 years old. I was sitting in the living room drawing, and I just remember looking up and just being blown away by how beautiful I thought she was. Initially, I repressed the feelings, especially in my teen years. Because I was a regular at a church, I had asked God to take it away, and I kind of felt like He had. And as I started aging and realized that the age of the girls I was attracted to were staying the same, that's kind of when I realized, this was going to be a problem. I went out with a girl when I was 20 years old, so she was 26. She was very petite, so she was my type physically, or I thought, at the time. At this time, I still wasn't really that attracted to adults, but I thought, well, maybe I can make this work, We dated for about 3 weeks. I kept putting sex off. Finally, I gave in. We tried it. It just didn't work. I went on a couple of dates after that with a couple of girls, but it never really got past that first date stage, and my heart wasn't in it. For all intents and purposes, I am a virgin. I've never had full-blown sexual intercourse. It just hasn't happened.
You had suffered abuse as a child. Can you tell us about that?
I came over to visit my grandmother. There was a guy that they didn't really know him that well. He was an acquaintance. And she asked me if I would take him outside to show my grandpa's garden. He went out to the side of the garden and sat down on the ground and patted the ground, indicating he wanted me to sit by him. And so I did, and then he just basically touched me. So it was a one-time event. I wouldn't say that it was the only thing that led to my sexuality. I would say there was probably a lot of other things that led me in that direction. But yeah, I think it was probably a contributing factor. I am a pretty reclusive person by nature. So I don't interact with the public that much anyway. I don't go out of my way to be around children. If they're around me, then they're around me. It happens. You can't completely cut yourself off. My niece, then my friend's daughter did that one. A friend's daughter did that one, and then a friend's daughter did that one.
And they're okay with that?
Yeah.
They're fine?
Yeah, because they know I am no danger to them. I'm probably safer with me than they are with a lot of non-pedophiles. I have a pretty healthy imagination. I think it helps me to process my sexuality in healthy ways that don't involve any real children. A lot of my fantasies actually revolve around kids who are more powerful than I am. This idea of super-powered kids, who are able to consent, because they're just super smart, or they could just crush me, if I hurt them. My family recognizes that I'm doing something important, that I'm kind of a pioneer, that I'm out here doing something that really needs to be done, and raising awareness and letting people know what people like me deal with and what we struggle with. I'm happier every day, and I feel like I have a purpose now. I am neither proud nor ashamed of being a pedophile. At this point, I just accept it. It's who I am.